So Quinn, being our lovely guest this episode, we'd like to feature everybody in the thumbnail of the video. And so the thumbnail idea that we have is here. I have my handy dandy iPad here. Is we draw us three boys, use myself and I, and you're Gigantamax. So like we're gonna like make you real big, and you're gonna have really big evil eyes. Quinn's on the left there, right? And so. But the kicker here is everybody at the podcast who does not know who Korra Quinn is a renowned shiny hunter who has 3 big fail shiny hunts. Well, 1 really successful one and 2 really big fails. Gabe will be using a Venipede to take you down in the Dynamax. Gabe, thoughts on that?
I love Venipedes so much. I think it's the coolest shiny. I would catch multiple shiny Venipedes if I could.
Good. And then I will be using a Azora to take you down. And then I think we're going to pass it on over to Fuse to use a Cresselia to finish the job, you know? And so...
Wow.
Yeah.
My favorite Pokemon altogether.
Thank you. For sure. Thank you, Fuse! Wrap it up at the beginning, baby!
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Welcome, everybody, to the Boost of You podcast. I'm Pavlam.
I'm Gabe. I love doing this every time. I love doing
yeah, I don't know the order.
The other boy.
There's a girl in here, guys.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And today we have a lovely guest to us, Korochu, a lovely shiny hunter and a lovely friend of all of us for many moons now. Go ahead, Quinn, and introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Quinn. I also go by Korochu. I love shiny hunting. I've only been doing it for about a couple of years, but I got into it very quickly. But I love Nintendo. I grew up with it, and Pokemon has always been my favorite games.
Quinn, tell us why Spidops is better than Annihilate.
Just his stats
not
are
better than
so
Annihilate.
good.
Stats are so
This is the
garbage.
wrong... Gabe, this is the wrong generation.
Trash.
Well, today on the Boost View podcast, we like to talk about games in retrospect, new and old. And but today we're in the middle of our Pokemon series, and today's episode is going to be about Pokemon Sword and Shield, the first game in Generation 8. Quinn started most of her shiny hunting in Gen 8, I believe. So that's why we thought she'd be the resident expert on some Gen 8 topics for today. And the first question I'd like to throw out to the group is, we always start with this. How was your purchase of the game? How did it happen? And what promos did you get with it? And let's start off to our lovely guest. Go ahead for it, Quinn.
I pre-ordered Pokemon Shield from GameStop, probably the second that I could. Got there when they opened on release day. No promo at all whatsoever. A little salty about it, but...
Wait, there was no promos even at GameStop?
I didn't even get like a poster or anything.
Wow. When did this game come out? This was 2017,
19?
correct? 18?
19.
19.
19? Okay.
I can't believe it's already been, almost 4
it feels
years.
like it was pre-COVID, so it was kind of insane.
Right.
What about yourself, Fuse?
I'm pretty sure I just went and just did mine digital since about that time the Switch was out, and honestly, I didn't like I said in every other episode was I'm lazy. I don't want to go to GameStop and go grab my game at like the butt crack in the morning. I don't want to go like 7 a.m. and get it. So I was like, no, I just want it ready when I awaken the next morning at 11 a.m. And then just go straight into playing them. Because I didn't like I quit saying, I didn't see any good promos, or even if there was a promo to go for these games. So I just figured it'd be easier just to go and digitally download them both.
What about you, Gabe? Because I have a good bit of story to tell about me acquiring this game. So
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't think I pre-ordered it. I remember when they came out, and I'm like, oh my god, like new Pokemon game. It's been so long since I've played you know, because I kind of skipped over Gen, what was it, 7, the Alolan region. So I was like, okay, it's been since X and Y. So I just went over to GameStop, I think the day of. I think I was off that day, so that was nice and quick and easy. I didn't get a promo or anything, but I got physical because I keep it as insurance just in case I don't like the game. I can always trade it back into GameStop. And we all know Nintendo games still sell pretty damn well at GameStop, even, you know, well after they're old.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So on my side, I think I'm the black sheep or somebody standing out here. So at like beginning of college, late high school, I like fell out of like I didn't have a Switch. Like I didn't play video games, or if I did play them, it was always the older ones. So I didn't actually get this game on release. I didn't get it until like 2021. Like it was deep into it. I did not get this game, and
Right.
I was even a little bit. I was on the never buyer train for a bit because of how the game looked. Just for a little bit. Just I turned around. Obviously, I've healed. I've become a better person. But
all those trees, and you were like, nope.
You better
No.
have.
I know, right?
It just really says something about your character that you took so long to buy the game.
I know, but no, it was kind of something similar to what Gabe said. Is so like I have not a vendetta, but definitely a grudge against Gen 7, and I fell out of Pokemon in general with Gen 7 really burnt me out. X and Y was it was a very mid experience for me, and then Gen 7 really just like I don't want to buy anymore. So, and I didn't really have a desire because like a lot of the people in my friend circle at the time weren't buying the game and they weren't playing the game, so I didn't really get back into it until COVID, and then that's when I started picking Pokemon in general back up and finding, you know, all the people on Twitch and in this community that do Pokemon stuff. So the game though, let's go for first impressions, since, you know, first Gen 8 game, right, on the Switch, came out in 2019. First also mainline console game. I mean, you could technically say Let's Go is that, when we're going to talk about Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee on a later episode, but this one was the first, like, okay, this is a new generation, they're going to do all new stuff. They're trying new formula in terms of like how you catch Pokemon. They have these things in the game that are called wild areas. That's like the first taste of like open world Pokemon that we got. So that was kind of my first impression of the game. I would say the first half of the game is like really fun actually, and it's like pretty enjoyable. And it's pretty fun to just kind of go back through it. But the back half of the game I think is rushed and it suffers a little bit. But otherwise, it's still a very enjoyable experience. But what are some of you guys' first impression? And I'll throw it over to Gabe.
So first impression, you know, new adventure. You know, Pokemon New Adventure is always really delicious, exciting, colorful. You know, you're a kid again, while you're also an adult. You're a kid getting thrown out into a big world that's very scary, and you're doing adult things even though you're 10 years old or whatever. But I was ready and excited. I was like, okay, this is going to be awesome. Hop, shut up. Let me play the game, please.
I didn't say anything.
I know. No, Hop. No,
You Hop.
Yeah, literally, dude, just let me play. But regardless, I remember the first route was literally a straight line. Oh, but there's a little U on the side. I'm like, wow, that's a great.
It was pretty though.
It was pretty.
I feel like it's memorable.
Yeah, it
But
was.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
But I do remember I actually had no idea wild areas were a thing in this game, and when I first like got into the wild area, I was like, oh, it's like. This is like, you know, we're getting kind of a taste. You know, I could tell, obviously it's not open world, but it's open-ended, and we can see the Pokemon, you know, Beware or whatever its name is, running at you is just obviously adorable and totally not the scariest thing ever, looking like Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. But, yeah, you know.
The Stuffle. I said,
Stuffle,
okay.
yeah.
I was like, what?
What?
Anyways, yeah.
But, is that what that Pokemon is called? Beware? Is that
the evolved form is,
The evolved,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
I just couldn't think of it for some reason. Continue. Sorry.
But you know, overall, I had a pleasant first experience with it. You know, I didn't really have any gripes. You know, I was excited. I was ready to do it.
Hell yeah. I meant to mention this.
Oh yeah.
Ironically, how I think this game is very, I don't want to say it's bad, but it's very mid to me. It has given me literally my second favorite starter in the entirety. Like, it's very close to my boy Turtwig. I love Scorbunny so much. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about this little fucking rabbit that just just makes my heart melt. But every time, I love Score Buddy so much. I named him Dr. Harris Bonkers on my first playthrough. He has a PhD in kicking ass, and that's how he goes. What about you, Gabe? What starter did you pick?
I went with Sobble. I usually go with the water starters these days. It would always be I'm water, David's fire, and then the grass was the outcast kind of thing. But you know, I still love Bulbasaur and Turtwig, of course. Yep.
Nice.
Big time.
And Fuse, what's your impressions and first starter and everything?
So my first impression of the game was a little bit different. First thing I noticed was we got our starters from the champion, which I think was an interesting like twist over the last couple of gens, because we always got it for the professor. Where the professor was in that region, we got our starter Pokemon from there. And then the only thing really the professor did for us was give us the Dynaband, which let you Dynamax. We'll get into that in a little bit later. As far as the starters go, I think like I'm just gonna say it right now. Unova starters are the bottom of the barrel for me. I don't like any of them.
Wait,
but
Unova?
These ones, huh?
Like Gen 5?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's gonna get us some hate comments.
I do not like any of them.
Dang.
But
all
these
right,
ones, I really loved Grookey. Like I like chips. Like I like Mankey. I like Apom. I like Chimchar. I like the apes. And Grookey was such a little cool. He had a little stick. He was rolling around. He was having a fun time. Okay. I was like, yo, I'm taking Grookey. We're gonna go all the distance, and we did. And like when I got to the wild area, I spent my time in the wild area for 12 hours. I didn't even get my first badge to like the 16th hour of the game. I was just running around the wild area, like doing the dens and stuff, and finding all the Pokemon I could or couldn't fight. Because I think the first Pokemon I ran to was an Onyx. It was like level 32. I was like, oh, I'm screwed. My Grookey's like 12 at this moment. Like, oh my god. And so it was a very wild experience for me. I'm just gonna say this because I know I chimed in with Gabe when he says, but Hop, dude.
Hop will not stop talking.
Hop needs to stop and leave me alone.
That's right.
Oh my god, you know what type advantages are? Of course I do, man. What do you mean?
He's definitely one of the weaker guys.
Our first fight was 1v2 and we kicked his dude. Like, oh my god, he's trash. Okay, sorry. We can go on.
No, you're good.
No.
Yeah, what about you, Quinn?
I picked Score Bunny. Exactly. I feel like the third evolutions of all of them are just so basic. It's like Bunny evolves into Bunny, Monkey evolves into Monkey, Lizard guy evolves into Lizard guy.
Actually, the big one is a gorilla. He's an ape.
No, they're just like born to be.
Yeah, what happened to the day when like the cat evolves into like a refrigerator, dude? Like, come on, what
Come
happened
on.
to those days? Like, Jesus, dude.
0 out of 10. Let's just call it right now. 0 out of 10.
0 out of 10.
0 out of 10.
Boom. The podcast, shortest podcast episode ever.
Yeah. All right. Fuck this game. Anyways, go ahead, Quinn.
But also yes, Frick Hop. He's annoying. I feel like they tried to make Barry again from Diamond and Pearl, but just like Barry did not hit the mark. Just irritating. Yeah, I couldn't do it.
He becomes basically
just like button mashing, like just shut the heck up.
And like I miss Gary. I miss having like an ultimately good rival who's just a douchebag, you know, saying "smell you later." I like when he tells me he'll smell me later, and I'm like, dude.
I hope he does.
I think I would have paid anything to see Beatty beat Hops. Dude, like seriously,
that would have been
I
fun.
wanted to see that off-screen fight actually on scene, so I can just be like, thank you.
Also, I have to say, I never pronounced it Beatty. I always pronounced it bidet.
Not the bidet.
Bro, Ludwig would love you. Swipe Bidet, sponsor us, please.
He's washed
sponsor
up.
the podcast.
He's washed up.
That's a pretty poopy name, am I right?
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, Hop ends up being basically 2.0 or How 2.0, whatever the kid name is from Gen 7. But yeah, I mean, it seems like we all have a pretty, same. We like the starters. We had pretty much fun with it. It's interesting. I think my experience just is a little different, just because like I started playing it like after the game was like already like out. Everybody knew everything. I actually picked it up, I think, when the DLC came out. Whenever that happened.
Oh
so
yeah,
that's like that's how far down the road I would like I had gotten into it. So,
nice.
But yeah. Yeah, so we obviously all hate Hop, but Quinn, what were some of your favorite characters, and who were some of the characters you like? And you can also tell us about some other ones that you might have hated.
I like Leon a lot. I liked that they finally made like the bigger figure, like trainer or whatever, like a celebrity. Because it felt like in older games, it's like, yeah, these like really strong
champions,
leaders and champions, and no one knows about them. No one talks about them. But then Leon, like, get there and like people are cheering him on. They want his picture. They want his autograph. I just as for characters I didn't like, DLC, his name, but he's the one that's like gives you like the quests to find the legendary. But like as like the daughter, I think, that like runs away because she's like, "You're so boring."
Oh,
and I'm like, "You
I know
are
who you're
so right."
the miner guy, the guy,
Yeah.
or he has like a mining helmet. He's the one who starts you down the Dynamax raid thing. So yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah, he's a bit annoying, but I think he was written that way, right?
Yeah.
Whereas
Button mash, get through the dialogue.
Yeah.
Let me.
Hop was like wasn't designed to be annoying. That guy was like designed to be annoying. He was supposed to be like that, Yeah. What about you, Fuse?
One of my favorite characters I have to say is B, the fighting gym leader. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
she's really awesome. Because I'm always like a fan for fighting types, so I was automatically like, boom, I have to go and play sword in order to fight her. Another one of my favorite characters to probably have to go and say is I'm pretty sure it's Dark, the Dark gym leader, like the musician guy.
The rock and roll guy, yeah.
Yeah, the rock and roll one. That was pretty cool. One of my least favorite ones would be the rock gym leader, which I think is like the ice gym leader's son. I think, if I'm remembering this correctly.
Yeah, the guy who has like the sunglasses. I know you're talking about.
Yeah, Gordo or Gordon or something along those lines.
He was very forgettable for sure.
Yeah, because gross. But back to Leon. Leon, I think, as far as challenge wise, because it seems so like versatile, I think is really cool. The only thing I really didn't like about it was the fact that once again Charizard is the mainstream for the champion. So I was like, really, you have to make Charizard the thing, not like a Gen 8 Pokemon by chance, but just because Charizard has a Gigantamax to Rex house.
I definitely could have seen him having like is it Toxidal, the guitar. Yeah, Toxtricity, or like, I mean, even like a Scorch or something is like or even like, what's the ghost?
Or just Dragapult.
Yeah, Dragapult.
He's right there. He's on the team, actually.
Yeah, I feel like Dragapult
more trouble than Charizard.
Yeah, he definitely could have been a nice ace. But anyways, yeah. I'll skip the order, kind of drink the order here. Obviously I cosplayed as this person, so I like Milo a lot. I just love his juxtaposition of like his baby face versus his like giant man body. That's always really fun.
Like
You're so funny.
I'm tickling you right now.
Yeah, I think Leon was a pretty good champion. I liked his personality. I think Chairman Rose, I'm conflicted on Chairman Rose because I like him as a villain in concept, but in execution, which we can get to more when we get into the story after this. I did not like how they executed his whole storyline and what they were trying to do with him, which I think again kind of boils down to the time thing. They could have done better, but anyways, so yeah. Rose, I like him in concept, could have been better. And then the fighting dojo area professor, or what's his name, something Mustard, whatever Mustard, that guy, he's
Colonel
really
Mustard.
funny.
Yep.
Yeah, I like him. They're from the popular hit game Clue, whenever Clue was made. I was about to say from 1904. But yeah, anyways, those are some of my favorite characters. What about you, Gabe?
So I would say my favorite. I don't really remember too many of the characters because I never actually finished the game. But
were you just googling them? I swear I heard you like to clack on your keyboard.
Oh, I'm looking up all the. I'm looking up the full like all the new Pokemon of Gen 8 because I was like,
you were like, what characters are?
I think Gen 8 only introduced like 90 new Pokemon or something.
Yeah, it's a small amount.
Back the national decks.
Yeah,
true. Oh yeah. For those who don't know, this is the first game that did not have a national dex. It actually limits the Pokemon. I think 500, 600 by the time the DLC is over with. Out of the 900, almost 1,000. Well, now it's 1,000 with Scarlet. But at the time, I think it was only 900 something. So, but anyways, yeah. Continue, Gabe.
I'd say favorite character Leon. Kind of similar to what Quinn said. I think it's cool how he was a celebrity, you know, and I liked his whole cape and his whole swagger and demeanor. I honestly was like, I figured he was gonna kind of be like douchey or whatever, but he actually turned out not to be. He was, you know, you could tell obviously he knew he was the best, but he was from what I remember, he was, you know, humble at, you know, like he was a decent amount of humble. He was friendly, you know, he was fun, friendly, energetic. You know, obviously I'm an energetic person, so I can respect that. And then least favorite, of course, being Hop, because, you know, I've already elaborated how annoying I think Hop is. But it's funny, the two siblings, you know, it's the two siblings.
Yeah, really. Yeah. So the other thing, I guess, is we talked about a little bit of the story there. I'm gonna break the question, or I'm gonna explain Dynamaxing, Gigantamxing. We can kind of break that down, and then we'll go into the story. Just because the story relies heavily on this concept of Dynamaxing, Gigantamxing. So anyone who hasn't played the game or has played the game, Gigantamxing, Dynamaxing is the gimmick / phenomenon in this game. What it does is you can make in certain arenas or in dens or what have you, usually just in gym battles or in like competitive play, you can turn your Pokemon into Dynamax form, which makes them really big for 3 turns, and they get a huge buff in their power, and they can do these crazy moves that affect the whole stadium and blah, 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 blah. And there's also a concept which takes that a step further called Gigantamxing, where it basically it's all the same stuff, but they get a original looking form, and their stats are basically like perfect, and they just kind of takes it a step further. So it's like a way to kind of train your Pokemon from being Dynamax to Gigantamax. Additionally, though, Gigantamaxing could not be done with every single Pokemon. Only certain list of Pokemon could be Gigantamax versus some that could only be Dynamax. But that's the basic concept of it. I thought it was really stupid when they introduced it, like in the commercials and stuff. I was like, this is the dumbest fucking thing I've seen. Just bring back Mega Evolutions, which we say every fucking time on this podcast. We're like, bring back Megas, but
bring back the Megas.
Yeah, but but when I actually played it and I did it for the first time, I was like, okay, that was kind of sick. Mm-hmm. That was kind of cool. It was kind of fun, which I think kind of just sums up my whole opinion of this game. Was I went into it with a very negative attitude, expecting not to enjoy it, and then I ended up having mostly fun with it. So, anyways, we have Quinn. What do you think about Gigantamaxing, Dynamaxing? I think it's a cool addition.
I think it's cool. I feel like they just kind of took Mega Evolution but made it kind of the same, but every Pokemon can do it, even if they don't have that special form. Because, like, you know, they have the cool, like, the Gengar, there's the big Charizard, Sandaconda turned into, like, a snake tornado. But then, like, other Pokemon can still do it. But like, cool, but at the same time, I feel like it makes it less special when every single... I think that's what I liked about Megas, like, you found, like, the stones, or you bought them wherever, and it's to that Pokemon.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I guess, like, so the only other thing that really does it, like every other Pokemon can do it. Well, did Z moves, was that for every single Pokemon? Did every single Pokemon get a Z move?
Everyone can use them, but there's the type. Like, as long as they have like a move that has that type, they can use that Z crystal. Or else some Pokemon have their own crystal that they use with one specific move that they usually have.
I'm currently playing through Gen 7, so I'm learning all of these. I'm learning all that stuff. So, but yeah, I was trying to think
you
of.
are playing through Gen 7.
Megas were
Have fun.
Your favorite
yeah.
game.
I totally didn't get wiped to Young Goose. It's fine.
No, never.
Yeah. So I agree with that point of like it's cooler when it's like specialized. It's kind of like the terrestrialization. Like terrestrialization is like everybody can do it, but then there's like those special things that like only these certain Pokemon can terrestrialize into like crazier types that would like really benefit them. So, but anyways, what about you, Fuse?
I think it's cool. At least the Dynamaxing part that like every Pokemon could be like become a Dynamax. So like at least in competitive play, that was a little bit interesting because you won't know which one they're gonna choose the Dynamax and really turn the tables of a fight. As far as the Gigantamxing though, I think it's a little bit cool that some Pokemon got their own stuff. I'm just not very. I'm trying to think of the best word to think here. I wish they diversified it a little bit better. Because usually it's like some Gen 1 Pokemon have it, and then the rest are like Gen 8. There's not like a real split between like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All of them didn't really get one. It was mostly like most Gigantamaxes are only happening like the first generation Lapras, Kingler, Gengar, Snorlax, all the like the staples, you know, like the most well-known Pokemon. Well, I guess Butterfree also got one, which was really cool as well. And then you got the rest of just like Gen 8, which makes sense because you know you're in the Galar region, so it's their home field advantage type of thing. I suppose they get like a couple Pokemon from like Gen 5 and 4 and 3, and like at least some Gigantamaxes as well, but like beggars can't be choosers. So I give it like Mega Evolution's still the best concept they ever made, as far as I'm aware. It's around the line of like, okay, I'm probably gonna forget that this was a concept. Like I forgot that Z moves were a thing. So.
I always forgot about Z moves as well, and that was Gen 6, right? Or 7, yeah, and Mega was Gen 6. Yeah, Mega was Gen 6. Okay. For me, it's. I'm gonna preface with this. I don't remember, the nitty gritty details of the games because it's been a couple years since I've played. Sword and Shield. At the time I was like, even up to this day, I'm like, man, why did they? It's every like new installation of a Pokemon game. It's Mega Evolution, but not. It's the same thing, but it's not. I don't know. I thought it was I wish it was just Mega Evolution, kind of like what you guys were saying. It's still cool. It's a big old, oh my god, like. It's like getting on Battlefield and seeing, if you guys ever played Battlefield 1 and like, the big blimp is coming down, and you're like, whoa, this is crazy. And it's like this big, like really cinematic, like theatrical experience. And it's just like, whoa. Yep. And, sorry, that was a very random, comparison, but let me kiss you on stage. But what I'm saying is, for the theatricality and for the experience, it's cool the first couple of times. It loses its charm for me, just like how I'm like, ooh, and then I'm kind of like, oh yeah, again, fall asleep. During the gym battles, I think that's awesome because it's just like just kick the shit out of that gym leader or whatever. But and so I'd say overall I was just kind of like, it's fine. I still want Mega, I like Mega.
A fair consent.
Mega Man.
Reason I wanted to talk about Gigantamaxing and whatnot first was because the story of this game, which is probably my biggest gripe with this game, is actually the story. It's based around Dynamaxing Pokemon, and there's these crystals essentially that are found in the Galar region that are also used to create the source of energy. Anyways, the story is you're just doing your thing, going through the different gym leaders and beating them and whatever. But Chairman Rose, the person who also runs the Pokemon League in this region, he is secretly making a plan to bring back a Pokemon called Eternatus that is supposed to give infinite energy, because Chairman Rose, according to the game, is worried about running out of power in not 10 years, not 100 years, but in 1,000 years. And I was that alone, I was kind of like, What? That doesn't make sense for a village. And I mean, if it was like 100 years, maybe I could see it. But anyways, so that's literally his whole mantra is that he's like, I need to make sure that this place we have infinite energy for forever. And he tries to bring back basically, the darkest day. And the way you as the player find this out is you go through the region with the professor's granddaughter, Sophia, learning about the mythos of when the first time the Eternatus appeared in the region. And apparently they were stopped by these two Pokemon, the Sword and the Shield, which, we later find out are Zamazenta and how do you say the other fucking one? I don't remember. Zacian, yeah. Those two, the Sword and the Shield dogs, and those two stop Eternatus, and that's basically the whole thing. And you stop, Chairman Rose, which you would think Leon, being directly partnered with Rose, would stop him beforehand. But again, there's a lot of logical holes in this story. I mean, it's fun, but I don't know. It's definitely one of the weaker ones in my opinion. But anyways, Gabe, tell me about it. What do you think?
So I remember when I found out that Chairman, I had a little hunch once again that I was like, I wonder if he's going to be the bad guy. And then, the bad guy, I know he's not like truly evil, like, I know, dude. I do this every time. I don't know. I just little bunnies. These bunnies are just
Here's the bunny.
Here's
bunny boy.
Little bunny.
All right, tying my hands behind my back for the rest of my speech. But I remember, because I never finished the game, like I said, so I don't know the story to its fullest extent. But I do remember hearing that he was the quote unquote bad guy. There, guys, I didn't do it. And I was like, oh, that's that's cool. What's he trying to do? And then you said the whole 1,000 years worried about the power going out. Eternatus, badass, legendary, by the way. What is it, like Dragon something?
Dragon poison.
Poison, that's right. Really cool. I also forgot that Zacian and Zamazenta or whatever have two forms. I'm assuming the shield and the sword form are when you Gigantamax or Dynamax or whatever them.
There's items that they hold that transforms them into their additional forms.
I got you.
They have like a basically dead dog form, and they have a we're alive and heroes form.
These refer to dead dog form?
Yeah, because they technically are like dead. Like you go to their fucking graves and like revive them from the dead, and then when they're done saving the region, they like go back to the grave and they go back to their ghost form and poof away.
It's like the Master Sword. They copied off Zelda. Sue them.
They're sealed, not dead.
They're just dead. They're deader than shit. But so that whole the whole 1,000-year thing, you're trying to just like take care of the future. I understand wanting to do that, but 1,000 years, man, you got plenty of time to come up with some ideas and create. Technology is going to advance for 1,000. I'm sure you'll be fine, Mr. Chairman guy. So a little bit of I understand the motive, but it doesn't mean it's a good motive. It's just kind of
Yeah. Let's break the order here, Quinn. What do you think?
It's like weirdly paced. Like I feel like you play through like basically the entire game. You like meet the characters along the way, but then it's like you beat the Elite Four, and then like all the bad stuff happened. It's like all of the story happened. It takes like hours to do it, and then you finish it. You're like, cool. I just beat the game, and it's like time to go challenge Leon, and I'm like, okay. It was just like an interruption. Like it just felt weird. I don't know.
Whiplash.
And like Chairman Rose never seemed like a threat. Like I think the girl that's with him, his assistant, like she seems more like she would be the bad guy. Like I always thought that, and then it's him, and I was like, oh. That seems kind of random.
Just like randomness for the sake of randomness or whatever.
Yeah,
exactly. We have all of our characters. Which one should we make bad, though?
Eeny, meeny, miny, you.
You.
Yeah, really. I was going to bet on Kabu, man.
I thought it was going to be hot, bro.
No man that wears shorts 24/7 is a good guy.
Sure, it's like those guys wearing shorts around campus in the negative 15 degree.
True.
Yeah, dude. They're insane. You know that. You know they are.
Oh yeah.
They show up to your Smash locals with like no deodor on.
Oh.
He's probably like a fucking Fox main. He's gonna be like, and when you play Puff, he's gonna be like, this is bullshit. You just keep spacing me, man. Anyways, I'm done.
Yes, Austin, tell us how you feel.
From someone who ran my college's Smash
Get it off your
tournaments.
chest.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness, dude.
Go
All
ahead,
right.
Fuse.
Okay, so let me just go and preface this that the story is just trash. I'm being honest. Like it makes no sense. I will spam this button for the rest of this podcast. Okay?
Bob with like a word.
Oh my god,
He's
not the
coming.
bomb. Oh no. Oh,
We have a
buddy.
child. There's a child here. Views. What the fuck?
Well, you know what? That kid. Get him out of here.
Don't listen to him.
Not the baby.
Don't listen.
Hold your big ears, score buddy.
Bird is third base.
Wait, what? What
Just
about
go-
third base?
I was
Huh?
Bird is third. I meant third rate, not third base.
Okay. Almost a home run.
There, he's getting there. You're doing great, sweetie.
He understood the assignment.
I thought you were saying. I thought you said Quinn went to third base with a fern. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What are you saying, Fuse? Anyway.
TikTok.
Okay, back to what I was saying. let's recompose ourselves here. Because I lost my entire like monologue that I was gonna go and spam this button for like another 7 times. One of the things I want to correct, and I feel like I'm bad correcting this, is that the professor's granddaughter's named Sophia. No, not Sophia. Sonia. Just want to correct that, Flam.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Sonia. How could I forget? I think she's on my wall of
She's
cards.
on your wall, dude.
Ooh.
Dude,
you
you're-
have her as a card, Flam.
No, I
Maybe,
don't.
I
I
don't
don't.
know.
I
I
just
don't know.
looked. I don't have her up there. That explains everything.
I have Sonia as a card. It's one of the few Pokemon cards I actually have. But the story was just so random. It like went like from like this like gradually, and then all of a sudden like Chairman Rose is the villain, but then Eternatus is defeated, and then we deal with who was it, Swordword and Shieldword or whoever those guys were.
Oh my god!
Do you guys remember those?
The
dudes?
literally-
ugliest characters ever in a
They're-
Pokemon
How
game.
do you do this?
I need to look 'em up.
Their
I need to look 'em
hair
up.
is
What are
literally
they
just
na-
dick and balls. Their hair is just dick and balls.
Shieldword. Or
Shieldbird,
Oh,
I think.
Shieldbert.
Look at their hairs, dude.
Anyways,
Oh, come on. Let me.
I know-
yeah, that's
I know
post-game.
I got like stylish hair, but those hairs, dude, that's just an atrocity.
yeah.
Like, oh my god.
That's just
So-
like so stupid. Let's put a picture. Oh wait, I can't put a picture up. Whatever.
yeah.
Where's my dude Gunword?
Wait, no.
Bro.
Watch this. Here, I got this. No, not
you got
copy.
this?
Yeah. Oh, you guys keep talking, but I'm going to.
You keep doing your thing. But honestly, my thing was we met the chairman in like shorts in a seafood restaurant, so I didn't imagine he was gonna be a bad guy. But granted, he was wearing shorts. But I honestly,
Oh,
I
there
thought
it
the
is. It's all
assistant was
coming
gonna be
together.
the bad person the entire time, because like she gave off like real vibes, you know, like really bad ones. It's like, okay, she is like Karen vibes, you know. I was like, that's gonna be the villain. That has to be it. Otherwise I'm wrong. And then I was like, the chairman's at fault for trying to save energy from 1,000 years out. Like, bro, you're gonna be dead in 1/10 of that time, if that, or less, my guy. It's like,
Yeah.
Sora was definitely one of the weakest of the 9 generations that we have.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Right here. I got it.
Oh,
I got
there
it.
they
You see
are.
it? There they are. Look at that. They're so stupid. Why are they? Their hair shouldn't be like that.
The blue
it's
guy's
sort
hair
of-
is practically a dick.
It is. I mean,
Exactly.
Like-
And literally dick and balls.
but
And the other
guys,
guy-
it's sword and
the other guy is
shield.
like a coat rack or something, dude.
It's-
Like, what is?
Just
Beavis and
kill them. They're dead.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah. I don't like. Yeah.
Um,
That's just.
Anywho,
Hey,
uh,
good morning. How does that
but
sound?
something let's turn this around to something very positive, because every Pokemon game does this fantastically, is the music. I found a lot of the music really fun in this, especially when you have Gigantamaxed and done all that fun
Yeah.
stuff. really fun. Yeah, you get the whoa, whoa.
Yeah, you guys are gonna hate me, but I think the whoa is really like obnoxiously corny and cheesy. I understand it's supposed.
Is it like the crowd cheering?
Well, I understand it's the crowd cheering. I get that. That's hype, right? That's so hype. It's a kid's game, but it sounds like infant music. I'm sorry. I know it's a hot take that nobody would like.
Listen, Gabe, I watch Bluey, so I love infant music. Okay,
just like I'm sorry. It's corny. It's very corny. I understand the whole hype. Huh?
Sorry, I was just sidetracked.
What'd you say, Quinn?
What'd you say?
Quinn said you're corny.
Corny.
Oh, got him.
Oh, that sweet corn, dude.
Farmer Gabe's corny.
Oh, let me tell you about them crops. Okay, but sorry. Let's get back on track.
Fuse, tell me about it.
I was gonna say a thing where I went to Flam's stream once and he was like went to the bathroom or something. He was playing Bluey clips, and I'm like, bro,
it works.
Talk about being farmed,
bro. It works though. Every time I've done that, my viewership doesn't drop a bit. It's, if anything, it actually goes up a little bit. It's amazing. It's like dangling keys in front of children. It's awesome. Anyways, plus I love it, and they like it.
I'm gonna let that joke drop itself, everybody. All right, let's go to the next thing. So honestly, as far as music goes, I really enjoy the music, especially in the wild area, because it constantly changes for depending on which area of the wild area you're in, or if it's like raining that day, or if it's like bright sunny. And then the battle music, it was a little bit corny in the start, but as it went on, I got into it.
Got the groove.
Yeah, and then the Champion Leon soundtrack is actually pretty good. I like that one a lot. The DLC soundtrack's actually like more than the original soundtracks, in my opinion. So just throwing my little hot take on that there. But as far as music goes, I think they did. I like the music more than I like the story by like fivefold.
Right.
So.
Yeah, understandable. When?
Honestly, the music for me wasn't that memorable, other than like the Max.
Yeah.
In the DLC, there's like the little snowy town. I do love that track. And like finding like the legendaries, like the Reggies. It was like,
yeah.
Maybe it's because I heard the battle theme 90,000 times in a row while shiny hunting. That just made me sick of it. So
you're over it. You're like, no more battles, please.
I mean, finding all those choice Venipedes, it does it to you.
If I could only hunt Venipedes forever and ever, I would take it.
No, actually, I agree with that sentiment. Like, the music that's there is really good, and the music that is memorable is really good. But like, I don't associate any of the towns with like, you know what I mean? Like I can think of like older games, even new games. Like I can think of like stuff in Scarlet and Violet that have like the towns that have really iconic music. And I don't think anything had music like that in Gen 8. My memory, nothing sticks with me like fucking Lavender Town or what's the Fortree City song? That's
Fortree. It's a good one, yeah.
So yeah, I agree with that sentiment. That makes a lot of sense. What about you, Gabe?
I don't remember too much of it, and obviously I didn't get, I never listened to the DLC music, of course. I've seen people play it, but it was like on stream, so I wasn't really able to hear too much of it. That's cool. I think that's interesting that DLC had really good music. I mean, not that there's any reason it wouldn't, just because it's DLC doesn't mean it's not going to be quality. But I do remember the wild area was very hype. I loved that kind of, guys, I'm going to do it, the Levolution kind of, twist with the music in the wild area. If it was raining, it was kind of muffled music. Bringing up Breath of the Wild as always. That's kind of what Breath of the Wild does. That's kind of what Animal Crossing New Horizons? Yeah, New Horizons does, like where it's raining. It's, kind of like the instrumentation changes a little bit, and the vibe is changed because of the weather that's happening. Bright Sunny is obviously a little bit like more not as dimmed, and it's a bit more energetic, of course. That's what I loved about the music in Gen 9. Love Breath of the Wild, how it does that. New Horizons, I think that's cool how that would happen in the wild area. I think the wild area was a lot of fun regarding the music because of things like that. I think when you can kind of it what's the word? I guess it just makes it more unique. It gives it more character when it is not just a static song. Not that there's anything wrong with a song being static, but cool introduction of, you know, something like that regarding music. Sorry, I was like totally tripping over my words right there, trying to think of the perfect words to just really cook up what I was looking for. But yeah, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all mentioned the DLC, right? So there's like aspects of the DLC really good. So I actually didn't play through too much of the DLC. I got through the Isle of Armor stuff, and then I started going into the Crown Tundra. I watched other people play through it, so I know like what happens, and like they introduced the new Pokemon, the new Reggies, but so for people who don't know, we have there's instead of a post game really in this game, they decided to wait, and they gave us 2 DLCs called Crown Tundra and Isle of Armor. And the first one was the Isle of Armor, and these were actually the first completely open world areas. Like the entire area was like open to, like it was like a completely open world, and so that kind of gave me hope for like later iterations to want it on. But anyways, yeah, so that was the first one, and you get a Pokemon called Cubfu, and you train him, and he's technically a legendary, and you train him through a dojo, and you do this whole dojo quest, and you beat the dojo, and it's great, it's fun. But the second part was the Crown Tundra DLC, which introduces the 3 legendary birds, Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno again, but as different types. I think it's like dark, poison, and psychic, or dark fighting psychic, excuse me. And then we also get 2 more Reggies in the Crown Tundra. We get a Regieleki and Draco. Draco, yeah. And so that part was really cool. And then you're also introduced to this new Pokemon called Calyrex, and yeah, that was a really cool thing. And in the Crown Tundra also being like way more chock full of content, you're introduced to these things called Dynamax raids. And this gives you basically raid battles that you can do with your friends, and like you can traverse these dens and fight Pokemon over and over again. And at the end of the den, you could fight a legendary Pokemon from games past, and it was a really good way for people to get old legendaries and bring them into the new games without having to like transfer them, and also still find them. And since Quinn, you spent a lot of time with those DA raids, why don't you talk about your experience with that? What you think about it?
I love Dynamax events. I think they're a cool way to like find people online or your friends online, and the shiny odds are great. So you defeat 3 Dynamax Pokemon. You choose from like a random set beginning. Don't use your own Pokemon. But along the way, kill 3 Dynamax Pokemon. But all 4 Pokemon that you catch have a 1 in 100 chance of being shiny. So it's a good way to shiny hunt. Want those legendaries? Sometimes you do over 400 for the same, and you never find it. So
time, don't we?
Love it.
Yeah. Tell us about that hunt, Quinn. Who were you hunting?
For Chris. Still haven't found her.
Edge. So sad.
Oh, I have one.
The determination, baby. The determination.
Gone but not forgotten.
I've had people like in my stream with me be like, "Oh my gosh, I got the shiny Cresselia," and I'm like,
don't talk to me.
I'm so happy for you. I promise you.
I'm just so happy for you.
No.
Literally.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
Oh, sorry. Second Life.
Yeah, Fuse,
It's very frustrating though when you're
go
trying to find a cool legendary, and it's just always those stupid, ugly Ultra Beasts. It's like every time it's like, oh my gosh, it could be a fire type, and I'm like, yeah, Entei, and it's Cephalon. Okay.
Yes.
So happy.
Oh man.
Yeah.
We're gonna have the Gen 7 haters in the. Anyways.
Thank God we get the legendary Beethoven.
Get the legendary steel box with legs.
Yeah.
Taka.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Fuse,
my
what do you think?
goodness.
What do you think of the DLC?
DLCs I enjoyed. I like Cubfu. I always like my fighting types because I'm a fighting type guy. I do like the fact that they can go to 2 different towers basically, and it changes his style. So basically in the DLC you can go, depending on, I can't tell if it was the game or if it was just a choice. I think you get to choose which one you go to. You go to the Tower of Mastery for water or the Tower of Dark. So you can become fighting dark or you become fighting water. And that changes what your signature ability is as well as a little bit of your stats. I thought that was really cool for the DLC. As far as the Crown Tundra stuff, the only thing I was really interested in was getting the Galarian forms of the legendary birds and the Reggies. I wasn't really too into the Calyrex line because I didn't really understand it. He was looking for a steed that was like either a dark or an ice horse, depending on who you throw them and fuse with. They just need to make a fusion game at this point because they're already fusing Pokemon left and right anyway. So, I mean, I'm playing Infinite Fusions. That's a fun game. Now it has a lot of fusions and stuff in it. But as far as DLC go, I think they were pretty enjoyable for what they brought to the table. Dynamax raids are cool. Shiny odds with the Shiny Charm are also boosted. So, like, those are always, like, very enjoyable. I think I got, like, 7 or 10 shinies, and then I think around that time I was going on and doing like different Nuzlocks of different games. But all in all, I think the DLC I liked the DLC more than I liked most of the original game, if that makes sense. So
okay, cool. Fuse or not fuse? Christ.
Yeah, let's go again. So I like
reiterate again. Go again. Yeah.
I'll repeat for the audience.
I was looking at you. I'm sorry.
I mean, I am handsome with my new shiny hair. So.
The new hair is so pretty.
My shiny hair that sparkles. I don't know.
Come on, Gabe.
I'm beautiful like a rainbow.
There it is.
Listen to me.
You got an Airhead Extreme on your head now.
There we go.
Yeah. Is that their rainbow, right? I don't know. Sorry, I was just.
Okay, go ahead, Gabe.
So obviously I didn't play through the DLC. So what I'll do is I'll turn this into a question for you three. I know you guys kind of already, gave your, answer about it. It was $15 for the DLC, right?
30.
For both?
It was 30? Okay, it was 30.
Yeah,
okay.
It was 30 for both. Yeah.
Do you guys, is it worth 30? I mean, I don't believe, the amount of time you spend with a game is the only factor when it comes to how much something costs, whether it's DLC or the game itself. I think it's about the overall experience. Was the overall experience for the DLC $30 to you guys? Was that something you'd recommend to people?
I think by itself, yes. Mm-hmm. But I think that Sword and Shield was not worth 60, so as a total, like the 60 and the 30, I would say no.
Because that's obviously half of the game, before tax and all that. But that's
I would say that, like, if you're it's kind of my position of this game in general is like, if you are a Pokemon fan and you had played it before, or if you're looking to get back into Pokemon, it's worth it. 1000% worth it. It's a good blend of new gen and old gen and like the same like kind of flow. But it's just a steep price, man, for
DLC,
for already paying $60 for the base game that, truthfully, in my opinion, is not even worth $60. But yeah, anyways, Quinn, what do you think?
I didn't even buy the DLC when it came out. I wasn't too into the game. I pretty much beat the game and I was like done. And then, like, probably a year after the DLC came out, I was like, I'm gonna give it a go. Like, it's $30, whatever. But I didn't like that it was a paywall with like Pokemon behind it. Like, a lot of the Pokédex is in the DLC. You can't just get in Galar anyway. And I didn't like Dynamax Adventures being a big like multi thing, like that was hiding behind that. And on top of that, you need Nintendo Switch Online too, so it's just like, for don't want to pay all that extra money, like they, to me, like the funnest part of.
Yeah, and I think that was like the biggest controversy with this game is that a lot, like in past, up until this point, a lot of post game content was free. It was already in the game. It was already built in. And if they wanted to do more, they would release like Platinum or Black and White 2 or Ultras, whatever. But in this one, this was the first time they waited and then they put that post game behind a paywall. And it definitely raised a lot of a lot of hate from the Pokemon community and saying, I mean, not saying it was like the end of the world, but it was definitely like, what the heck we had been before. You know, you had set this precedent of having a national dex, having all this stuff, and now you're almost taking away from us now. But that's just me, anyways. Views.
I think back then it would not be worth it because in total it would be about $90. But now that you can get sword like used for like maybe 30 or 40, I think maybe it would be worth it, just for the simple fact that you can get that just for the Dynamax raids alone, you can go and get shinies if you do like a couple hundred takes of whatever legendary shiny you want to get. And then you get the 600 plus Pokemon that you can go and get ready, put in a home for any future games that come out for that. I think by then it's worth it, but back then for $90 for basically to upgrade your Pokedex by triple the amount of Pokemon that you can go and capture, I don't think it was worth it at all, in my opinion.
Because I remember, like, you know, DLC should always feel like, you know, it's worth the money for sure, because you know, it's not like you're getting a brand new game. You're just getting more of the, you know, the same game, maybe some added areas, story, Pokemon in this instance. Because like in Breath of the Wild, you know, I remember when that DLC came out, it was Ballad of the Goddess, and then the other, the Master Sword Trial. Some people were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe they're making us pay money for this." It was, I think, only $15. I was like, guys, it's $15. You know, DLC's been around for, you know, literally over a decade now, or something along those lines. I want to say, used to be on discs.
I've heard that DLC is like great. I haven't played
so good.
I need to, but I've heard it's fantastic.
So good.
Like it's worth every penny.
It is. It is. The Master Sword Trials are amazing, and the Ballad of the Goddess is a great, like, it continues the story and shows you more, like there's cutscenes, you know, like with, you know, each champion, and you get more shrines, you get to fully do, you know, but yeah, you know, that comparison, of course, again, Breath of the Wild, as always.
I think with this DLC, what about it is like the wild area. I mean, it's the same as the wild area, but like a lot better, because the wild area was like grass, forest, lakes, river. That was kind of it. And then you go to the Isle of Armor, and it's like beaches, forest, you have, and you can do all that. Like, wild area was just like,
it was kind of just, it was like how Halo Infinite was the same biome and environment the whole time. It's like, man, how is there no snowy mountain here? How is there no like volcano or any? It's just all grass and hills and grass and hills and some water.
Well, we mentioned shiny hunting a bit. So, well, okay, before we get to that though, let's give our overall ratings of the game, and then I want Quinn to kind of like tell us just like about like, one, what is shiny hunting? Because I know there's like, people may not know this. Like, what is that? May not even know there's a community, because I had no clue there were, like, I knew shinies exist in the game, but I didn't know there was such a huge amount of people who like did it, and like there's like all these tactics and everything else. But yeah, so I'll start rating the game. So for me, I think the game's a solid. Again, I think it's a solid 7 out of 10, maybe 7.5 with the DLC. It passes. It's fun. But it's very mid. It's definitely good to get into if you want to be into like new gen Pokemon, but otherwise it's not anything. It's not anything to like, you know, cry home about and say like this is the fucking best in the world. Yeah. What about you, Quinn?
I would give it the same. I think a 7 with DLC. I'd probably give it no, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Co-op is
it makes
awesome.
It better.
Yeah,
Co-op.
Wasn't that what it was? Or Dynamax Adventure? That's co-op. Or I mean, it's.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that part of it's co-op. Yeah. No, you're right. What about you, Gabe?
What's so funny? Oh, just hold on a minute. Me and Fuse have a pickle to tickle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Fight it up.
Yeah.
Here it comes.
Gabe!
Guys, sorry, I had a chorizo
why
burrito.
would you feel like that?
Listen, I had some spicy food earlier. But okay. Obviously, like I said earlier, I didn't play the whole game, so obviously I can't speak for the whole game in the entirety. But 7 out of 10 for what I experienced. One of my biggest gripes was going into the wild area, and oh my god, there's David. He's in the wild area. Wait, that's not the way David's going. Wait, why is his character not moving? David's moving on his screen, and it's like it's connected, but it's not. You know, there's
people on their bikes that are like.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait, are those real people? And then when I found out, I was like, oh, it doesn't feel as you know, I don't, it kind of just feels a little bit more
janky.
empty. Yeah. And then also kind of the visuals were a little bit of a letdown. As always, I'm gonna say this. I'm not expecting, you know, ultra 4K, whatever, HD Elden Ring, you know, but I think it was they were a little lazy in the, you know, texture visual department. They had the color, they had the juicy colors for sure. But yeah, just, yeah, you know, a little let down by that. But still fun. Still fun, you know? Still fun from what I did.
What about you, Fuse?
I don't know, man. I got lower points and didn't add Primeape.
Oh, yeah. No fur either.
Another game. Another one without Primeape. Oh, man.
Dude, shame.
At least your Pokemon's in Gen 9.
True.
Mine got an evolution.
Dude, you're eating good for Gen 9,
imagine
So
Gigantamx for it. Imagine like 100-foot long for it.
Dude, so good.
Just wait for the DLC. Maybe there'll be like Paradox for it. You know, that'd be cool.
Iron for it. Iron Tail.
Iron
Tail.
Tail.
It could be like a caveman fur to be kind of funny.
Yeah.
But
feral
aside,
cuteness.
they gave some of the original Pokemon some love. Like Kingler got a Gigantamax, which I thought was really cool. Lapras got some extra love as well. The only thing that really let me down was the story, which made absolutely no sense. So story wise and all that considering, I'd probably give it maybe like a 7.5. With the DLC, without the DLC, I'd probably get like somewhere along the lines of like 5.5.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow, DLC really makes or breaks that. That's
I mean,
understandable.
The Dynamax rating alone, just getting the legendaries and having a chance for shiny and like playing around with your friends, just trying to get some cool Pokemon is just enough to bump the score. And the two new Reggies and the Galarian birds, all fantastic. I love Galarian Zapdos. It reminds me of Bakugo from My Hero Academia, if anyone's an anime fan, but like that's how I just immediately runs out to me. So, but I'd give it about 7.5 with the DLC included.
Yeah. Well, I think that concludes our discussion about the game by itself, Sword and Shield. Obviously, overall fun experience. I think we all agreed for the most part. But yeah, as I said earlier, Quinn, can you kind of break down for us, for people who may not be familiar, explain it like we're 5, whatever. What is shiny hunting? How has the community of shiny hunting affected you? What do you do with it? Blah blah blah. You tell me. You lay it out there for us.
So, shiny Pokemon is a very rare form that you can randomly encounter. Every Pokemon has shiny. The base odds for this game, I believe, was 1 in 4,096. But if you yes, in the old games it was 1 in 8,000 something. Lowered it. I think in Gen 7, But once you got your shiny charms, so you complete your Pokédex, that's cut in half. So then it's down to 2,000. But there's a couple ways to shiny hunt. I mean, Dynamax is one of them. Another is the Masuda method, which is eggs. I think the odds are really good. I think it's, but I want to take I've only done it maybe. But the way that I did it was encounters. So you basically just defeat 500 of the same Pokemon. And your odds are lowered a lot. Not quite to the 512, but you have like my last hunt in Shield took a year to get because its spawn rate is like a 50% and it's random and overworld, so find it in the tall grass randomly, or you can find them running around in the area. But often, if you're me, you find like 5 shiny Venipede instead of your Zorua, and you find a Pikachu and a Carablast and a Happy. So it's really fun. A little frustrating. But in this game, it's probably so far my favorite way to shiny hunt because even though it takes forever, it is very rewarding. Newer games, it's just find them, which is fun, but same,
So you would go back to, you'd be okay if in the next game that's how you had to shiny hunt, was individual encounters instead of just like how in Scarlet and Violet it's easier because you can do auto battles and outbreaks and all that. You would still go back even after being spoiled by the.
I think overworld shinies are a good addition, but I do still like the random encounters that were in that game.
Yeah.
Like say.
Yeah, it feels obviously a little bit more special. If something's harder, it feels better to accomplish the harder thing. Yeah.
Plus, even the 500 defeated takes so long. Like in Violet, in like 20 minutes, you can get your 60 plus of your outbreak.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's some way, I think, in future games where you could kind of meet that in the middle, maybe just increasing the odds of just like having how you find shinies in the overworld, especially because I don't think they actually decrease the odds per se. I think it's just the fact that you can run through encounters, back to back to back. When you can run through in previous games, you would have to say like 1 in 4,000, right? You had to run through 4,000 encounters over a course of a week or so, right? And that's if you were diligent. But you can run through 4,000 encounters in a day now, if you are like you put your grind to it and you just run through them, right? So that it's definitely changed because for people who don't know, back in the day it was really rare, as Quinn was saying, and as we've gotten into the newer gens and even into Scarlet and Violet, it has become much easier to find shinies, which some people argue it's a good thing, some people argue it's not as fun, but I think it's cool to make it more accessible because, at least for me, I didn't shiny hunt all that often, and it's cool to find overworld shinies randomly. And I think that was what they were trying to do with these newer gen games, is make it so that people can just randomly find them in a more common place. Because I think I found 3 shinies just randomly playing through Scarlet and Violet, right?
What's that term called?
Full odds.
Full odds.
Yeah. When you find a Pokemon. Oh.
Yeah. Brought to you by Taco Bell. Don't forget.
Yeah. So when you find a shiny without hunting it or without it being like your intended hunt or whatever, it's called full oddsing it. It's like, oh, I got it. I got the 1 in 4,000. I didn't even try.
Right.
So anyways, thank you, Quinn, for that explanation of shiny hunting. What's like the best thing? Let's just say, what's your most like positive experience of shiny hunting? Why would you recommend it to other people?
Honestly, the community. When I started on Twitch, I was playing League of Legends.
She was league pilled.
But I was like, I wonder if people like stream Pokemon. Like, what do you do if you stream Pokemon? I looked someone up, and he was shiny hunting, and I was like, wait, this kind of looks fun. And then I like going through like Pokemon streamers, and like most are shiny hunting. So I kind of like did a little research, like, wait, like isn't as hard as I thought it was, because I was thinking like old like a Ruby Sapphire, you're 1 in 8,000, all random. So I was like, I'll try it out. Bought a capture card, made friends, literally like hundreds of friends over the course of a couple months, and
local streaming sensation Korachu.
Korachu.
Yeah. Pichu.
Pichu.
Karakachu.
Oh boy. All right. Well, thank you, Quinn, for that shared experience. And yeah, I would agree. It's a great community. If you are looking into hunting shiny Pokemon, if you are in the Pokemon community at all, it's a fun time. So yeah. All right. So I'm gonna spend the last couple minutes of the podcast. I like to ask this question to everybody. What are we currently? Oh no, yeah, go ahead. Well, I was gonna ask go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna ask if everyone had a favorite Pokemon in Gen 8.
Oh yeah.
Dragapult is so cool. So strong, so fast. I love memeing people online with my admin Dragapult with max attack and speed. I had some cocky people on Twitch be like, oh my god, let me battle you. And I just choice banned that bitch and I destroy them with Dragapult alone. I'm like, you know what? I'm better than you.
I like Surfetched. I like Galarian Farfetch'd. It's a good one.
I forgot about that,
dude. It's got a little sword, little like shield thing. He's ready.
obviously Scorbunny, but I only fell in love with this Pokemon because of the Nuzlocke I did with it and how my community rallied around it. It was Scorch. I named him Bacon. And so everyone just said, we need bacon to survive. Bacon, bacon. So Scorch is now, the bacon boy in my head. And that one's always been, cemented in my heart now is a good Pokemon from Gen 8. Gabe?
Probably my favorite of Gen 8 would be Corviknight. I always love like getting the bird in every game. I'm like, oh, I wonder what the new bird, is going to be for, Gen 9, Gen 10, blah, 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 all that. I do think Eternal Tits is really cool. Eternal Tits. Yeah, I think that's a really cool legendary, by the way. Is that it's yeah. But I was just looking at all that just to refresh my memory. But Corviknight's really cool. I mean, we love how Corviknight gets sniped by what's it called in Gen 9?
Tinkaton.
Yeah, Tinkaton.
Oh, Tinkaton.
But yeah, and then I think a good runner up would be Toxtricity. It's such a strange looking but oddly cool and very cool type as well. Yeah, it's such a bro. Yeah. It's such a, and then Wooloo rolling around. I remember when I first saw Wooloo's rolling around in Route 1 or whatever.
True. I forgot about Wooloo.
So cute.
I do love me a Wooloo.
So, but Corviknight overall for sure.
Nice. All right, speed round. What's everyone been playing that's not Pokemon, even if it's not on stream? For me, it is. We fell back into Minecraft. So we've been playing Minecraft, and then me and my friends have also gotten a mod called Seamless Co-op for Elden Ring, so we can play through the entire thing of Elden Ring completely co-op friendly. It's a great mod. I recommend looking up how to download it if you have Elden Ring and you have friends that also play Elden Ring, because yeah, it's nice. What about you, Quinn?
I do this every few years. I become obsessed with Sonic Adventure 2. In raising Chow in my Chow garden. I don't even beat the game. I pretty much get all the characters on, and just all of a sudden 4 hours went by. I'm raising my Chow.
Chowed up.
Yeah.
Chow. Still playing through Dead Space Remake, really fun. Always recommend that for sure. But the last few days I've been playing Battlefield 2042. Very, very controversial game when it first released in late 2021 because of how unfinished it was. It was just, the poster boy of unfinished games, as we are very familiar with these days and with games. But it's gotten to a state where it's pretty playable, enjoyable, and it's just chaos. It's so fun. I get pissed so much at it just because people are. It's awesome. It makes me so happy.
Nice. And Fuse?
I'm getting back into Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel actually.
Nice. A good one.
Been playing those games. Beyond that, I've been like really, really addicted to Crystal Kaizo for.
I see your Discord status that says CK is awesome or whatever. Or CK Plus.
Dude, awesome. I'm on like attempt 13. I know we're not supposed to talk about Pokemon related games, but it's okay. Pokemon related game. I'm a Pokemon streamer. What am I supposed to say? But like it's like I've been doing like randomizers for the last like 8 months. So playing a challenging game is like a breath of fresh air to me. So like, oh my god, I'm on attempt 13, but I'm still like so excited for Monday to play more.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
So, but nice. I've been playing some Yu-Gi-Oh because Yu-Gi-Oh. What's the other stuff? Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z. I got all three. I'm addicted to all three of them.
So. Nice.
Hell yeah.
Oh, can I mention about my Battlefield 2042 experience? So in this game, literally, Gabe.
Shut the fuck up, Gabe.
So Battlefield games are very known to destructible environments. Some of the newer ones aren't as destructible as the older one at some point, But in this one, the environments are pretty destructible. But the cool thing about this game is each map kind of has its own unique inclement weather thing. So there's a map called Hourglass. It's in Qatar desert. It's a big sandstorm that comes in. It's like this big red, dust wall that comes in, and you're in the sandstorm, and it's just it's chaotic. And then a couple of the other maps, have a big tornado. Yes, look at the sleepy lovelies. Yes, little babies. But
baby Pikachu's.
Pikachu.
I don't have a sleepy baby. I'm sorry.
But and then other maps.
You are a sleepy baby.
True.
That's me.
Scorbunny can be
I'm
sleepy.
so sleepy.
Eepy, he's so eepy. Look at him, he's so eepy. Anyways, continue, Gabe.
Sorry, I know I've already had my turn, but oh my god, a couple of the other maps, they have like tornadoes and like there's like lightning in the tornadoes, and you can literally use a wingsuit in the game and fly around in the tornadoes, dude. Like, I think you get hurt. I haven't attempted it yet. I'm sure you get hurt if you stay in them too long or whatever and die, but like, it's just like this ultimate like playground of just badassery and chaos. It's really cool. That's my exciting point.
Sounds fun. I like it. All right, well, that is the Boosted Few podcast. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. Quinn, where can we all find you at?
At the twitch.tv, Twitter, Instagram.
How do you spell Korochu?
Aoro, like Korok. H.
2 U's. Don't forget the 2 U's.
Somebody took it with 1 U.
Boo.
Boo.
All right.
I guess you could say it wasn't you.
All right. Well, thank you, Quinn, so much for being a lovely, lovely guest on the podcast. I appreciate it so much. We would love to have you again sometime in the future. That's going to do it for us today. Our next episode is going to be on Gen 7, baby. Yay! So if you haven't played Gen 7, woo!
Aloha.
Make sure that you do your homework. Aloha, baby. We're going to Hawaii. We're going to Aloha.
Let's go to the beach.
So, let's go to the beach.
Let's dive for the rest.
I play the games. I'm looking at you two to.
Listen, I'm in the middle of playing it. I'm getting there. I will have played through a substantial amount of the game before the next episode of the podcast.
Me and our special guests are going to be carrying that conversation.
Yes, you will. And I'll be like, wow.
All right. Well,
hey, there's a beach over there.
I love the beach. I'm just drinking mimosas on the beach, man.
Gabe, do you want me to show you how to get the emulator so you can at least try it over the week?
For sure.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Subscribe, like, follow, review us on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. And we'll see you guys next time on the Boosted Few podcast. Bye.
Everyone have a fun time. See ya. Or else what, Views?
I will kiss Gabe on the mouth.
No, don't subscribe to that one. Smidge just can't do both.